So there are a lot of videos that talk about the process of buying a home and the steps that you should take. But I'm finding that most people find it helpful and have questions about when they actually need to start, or how do they even plan for this? What's the first thing that they need to do once they decide to buy a home? So in this video, I'm going to be clearing the air and hopefully bringing some clarity on when and how to start this process. Hey guys, Tyler Bundy here, the real estate guy here in Omaha, Nebraska, helping maybe you become a first-time homeowner. So if you're even thinking about moving to Omaha, send me a quick text. I have people from all over the country that reach out and I absolutely love it. So today we're going to be having a high-level conversation, a 10,000 foot view, so to speak. And my goal for you by the end of this video is to have a clear picture of what you need to do to get started. Now, the very first thing you have to do is decide when you want to be in a home. Maybe your lease is coming up and you don't want to rent another year. Maybe you're a planner and you want to go into this fully prepared. Or maybe you're moving into town and you don't want to rent again. No matter which of these situations you fall into, the fact remains the same. You need to determine when you want to get the keys to your new home. Now, as you're deciding this, keep one thing in mind. When you're selecting a date, you're not going to be making payments for up to 60 days from the day you close on the house. So if you close on, let's say, May 2nd, your first payment won't be until July 1st. This is because the bank requires a full month of interest to acquire before you start making payments. So if you close, for example, on May 25th instead, your first payment will still be July 1st. This applies to any month of the year. This is extremely helpful with just about every situation because it gives you time to tie up loose ends at your apartment and not feel the stress of moving in and moving out on the same day. I can't tell you how many times I've seen how stressful that can be and you don't want anything to do with it. So maybe your lease is up June 1st, and if you close on your house May 2nd, you would have a full month to move into your new home and still have a free month of no payments. It's pretty sweet. Now, once you decide the date, we're going to move backwards to determine when you want to start the process altogether. When you find and get an offer accepted on your first home, you enter what we call the closing period. It's during this time that you're going to finalize the loan, you do the home inspection and appraisals to make sure that everything looks good and make all the preparations for moving into your home. This period usually takes 30 to 45 days, and you're going to decide that day when you actually close when you write up the offer with your realtor. So if we're keeping with our example of getting the keys on May 2nd, that means that we need to write an offer between March 15th and April 1st. But we all know that before we buy a home, we first have to find one. Now, this time frame can literally be different for every single person depending on their preferences or how picky one may be. With that being said, I have found that with a little education, it can go a long way and make somebody feel more comfortable about how long they should actually take to look for a home. The National Association of Realtors found in a survey surveying thousands of first-time home buyers that after looking at 8 to 10 homes, a person felt more comfortable putting an offer on a house. Now, this could be over the course of a couple weekends, or my favorite way of doing this is to do a process that I call speed dating. Yes, just like dating somebody. We'll set a date and to go out and look at homes, and I'll schedule 8 to 10 homes over the course of 2 to 3 hours. And I tell all of them that we're only going to spend 5 to 10 minutes in each house because I only want them to answer one question while we're there. And that question is, do you see yourself living here? Remember that. The only question you need to ask is, do you see yourself living here? And literally every person that I've asked this to knew the answer within less than 5 minutes. If it is the one that you actually want to put an offer in, we're obviously going to spend a little more time in that house looking at the important details of the home. But if it's not, we're going to leave. Even if we haven't seen the whole house, we want to make sure that we get out and find the right one for you. By the end of our first time out, you will have seen enough so when that perfect home does come up for sale, you're going to feel more confident about putting an offer in that home. Let's look at it another way. Let's say you found the perfect home the first time you look online and you contacted a realtor to go look at it and you said, this is it. How confident are you really that it's the right one? What if there's another one? What if it's overpriced and you don't know it yet? All these thoughts will flood your mind the moment you put an offer in on a house. And the only way to feel comfortable and confident about putting an offer in is to actually look at a bunch of houses so you know what's out there. You can either choose to do it over the course of a couple weekends, or if you do it in a day, you will get the same results. But the benefit of you doing it all in one day is that when the right one does come up, maybe a couple days later, maybe a month later, who knows, you're going to be ready to move and to snatch that up so that somebody else doesn't get it. Now, if you decide that you like this approach, you'll probably find a house within 2 weeks of actually starting this process. That puts you at the beginning of March as a start date for looking for homes. There is one step before this that you need to do before you start looking, and that is to get pre-qualified. This should be able to be completed over the course of a phone call with a local lender and really only adds a couple days to the process. Now, a side note here, if you are a business owner and you receive 1099s, this is going to take about a week depending on how quickly you get the required documentation to the lender. I say this because the last thing that you want to have happen is you find the perfect home and put an offer in it, and then days before closing, you find out that you can't get the loan. This happens most often with business owners and 1099s. So please avoid the heartache and get fully approved before you start the home search process if you are a business owner. If you are a business owner, you'll want to start the pre-approval process around the last week of February or 50 to 65 days before you want to be in your first home. If you are an employee, then I would start the first week of March or about 40 to 45 days to 60 days before you close on your house. Now, there is some flexibility in there to fit your needs, so I would recommend getting in touch with a local realtor even before this so that you can share with them your specific situation, so that they can guide you through the process and help you along the way. That really is what a realtor is there for, and the best part about all of this is that they can guide you through the entire process, and it is completely free to you. Realtors get paid by the seller agent of the house that you end up buying. So get a referral from a friend, or if you have questions about choosing a realtor, I'm happy to help and give you some direction on that. Even if you're not looking to buy in this market, I would be happy to help. And if you're doing your due diligence and you want to know what to expect during the closing period in more detail, check out this video here that I just made about that very thing. If you found this video helpful, please give me a thumbs up and leave a comment if you have any requests for future videos. I'd love to hear from you. Other than that, I will see you in the next video.